Well, hello, all my amazing friends. My name is SherriAnneDuffy-King, and I'm the writer of the Tale of a Crucified Innocent series. And in this series, we're going to be discussing Secremthia Rewind, Part 2, Book 7, Chapters 11 onward, alright? Now, let's get going, shall we? Now, my beautiful friends, Chapter 11, Setting Forth. The Ecuadorian siren lulled against the currents. As storm clouds gathered over the ocean, Mina leaned over the banister as a wind chill spilled past her. Mina laid her head against her crossed arms and tried to wrap her mind around the fact that her reality was in fact a farce. How is this even possible? Mina heard a creaking noise that, creaked the wood behind her. Mina turned around to face H. He was taller than she had remembered. Mina walked over to him. Rain started to fall around them. She reached up to his concerned face and touched it. Small sparks flitted beneath her skin. He was colder than she had remembered, yet when the rain fell around them, her touch brought him into reality for a brief moment. He breathed out smoke as the atmosphere dropped in temperature. Mina did the unthinkable. She slid her other hand up his bare chest, slowly tracing his leather jacket, up his collarbone and to the back of his neck. H's hair was soft as Mina tangled her fingers in his blonde hair. His eyes overcast and icy, Mina could feel his heart beat as she pulled him into her lips. The kiss was intoxicating. His bloodied hands grasped onto her waist, holding onto Mina's white night-slip. The blood from his hands soaked her as well as the thunderclaps. The rain soaked them as they felt the world slip away, for all that mattered was this moment. Another chill ran up Mina's spine as she felt safe. A huge flash, and suddenly someone was pulling her from H and knocking her to the ground. As she tried to focus, another clap of thunder shook the Ecuadorian siren, and Mina saw W beating on H. Mina jumped up and ran to H, screaming and throwing herself in front of H. "No, W, please don't hurt him." W looked at Mina, anger rising up within him. "She is mine, not yours, never yours, mine!" Mina went to cover H, but as she did, H vanished from view, leaving her crying on her knees, her hair covering her face. W reached down to pick Mina up, pulling her by the wrist, trying to drag her off in the rain. Another clap of thunder, and Evie appeared before W out of thin air. W swiftly let go of Mina. Evie sucker punched W, knocking him back on his ass. "I think not. If anyone has claim on my daughters, I believe that's me." W recovered quickly, standing up and trying to make his way back to Mina. Evie blocked his attempt. "She is mine." Evie reached for the sky, collecting electricity within her fingertips, her eyes changing to a multitude of colors, neon lime, lavender, and blue flickering behind her corneas. "No, she is not." W stepped back, unsure if he should continue down this folly road to his own demise. "Mom, don't destroy him. He is one half of Wesley." Evie glanced from Mina to W, stepping each step with such angered force. "You best leave, boy, for I will fuck you up." W stepped back, stumbling into Aiden and Lucinda. Aiden and Lucinda had their swords drawn and grins that could kill. W recovered his composure and stepped to the side, snapping his fingers and dissolving into black smoke that faded into the heavy rain. Evie let go of the lightning, releasing the energy, and bent low to Mina. "Are you all right, Lullaby?" Mina looked up at the woman who was her mother. "I don't understand. How come this is happening to me?" Evie picked up Mina, pulling her into a hug. The warmth filled Mina, making her sorrow flow away into the rain and feeding the ocean. She felt better, yet the question still lingered on her mind. Evie pulled from the hug first, and grasping Mina's hair and removing it from her eyes. "Follow me, I will explain." Evie led Mina to the hull of the ship, where the mermaid statue was shackled to the front. Evie touched the air above Amelia and then placed her hand on Mina's cheek. We are here because of a group of creatures which includes Amelia, Caleb, Aneo, Nemosai, and Jude. Images flashed before Mina's eyes, images of each of the pivotal events that led to the current situation. Tears streaked Mina's eyes. When the images and memories stopped flowing, Mina was shaking, unsure of her destiny. You are a princess, and even though I couldn't protect you from the chaos you received before Riley's rewind, I will help you grow and protect you from the same stuff that has happened to me. What you seek is Leo's lily trapped in a glass seashell on a necklace, silver specks scattered all over it. It is one of the purest trinkets that can help you with what you need to do. We have a long journey ahead of us. Where is it? Evie stepped back away from Mina, looking Mina in the eyes. We have to look for her tomb, and you are 1/4 part of her soul that was split. Evie led Mina into the cabin room, leaving Mina to her thoughts. Chapter 12, Loose Lips Sink Ships. Mina watched Evie leave the room. The storm raged on outside the cylindrical window. The crackle frightened Mina. She shivered in her wet nightgown as she walked over to the standing mirror in the corner. Mina noticed a soft blue crochet blanket draped over the top right edge of it. Mina reached up, stepping on her tippy toes, lightly stumbling toward the mirror. Two hands grabbed her from within the mirror and helped steady her. H appeared on the other side of the glass. What are you doing here, H? H stepped through the glass into her world, his blue eyes shining bright, and a hint of a smile spread across his face. He had blood dripping from a cut on his lip and a bruised eye. Mina's heart leapt in her chest. Are you all right? What can I do to help make this better for you? H stepped closer to Mina, closing off the spaces between them. He bowed his head and captured her lips. The shock of the kiss sparked a heat wave across her flesh. Mina pulled from his kiss and looked up toward H. His wounds were healed, completely gone. H combed his right fingers up her neck through her left side and pulled her but inches from his lips. Mina turned her head to the right. H whispered in her ear, Mina, kissing you has healed me. Will you make love to me and continue to be my girl? Mina nodded her answer, which made H frown. She was waiting for Wesley. H, I want to wait. And when I get that magic lily, then I have to sleep with you and W at once. H took Mina's chin tight, tilting it up toward him, meeting her eyes. I will wait for you, my girl. H vanished, leaving Mina alone. She climbed into the covers and fell to slumber. Chapter 13, Perfect Mornings. I have this perfect. Yeah, like a cat. Like the cat right there behind me. I was looking at her when I was naming the title. Mina felt a soft breeze brush through her dark locks as she opened her cabin door and stepped onto the deck of the Ecuadorian Siren. The fresh air was such an amazing experience for Mina. She had no idea how clean air could taste once she stepped away from her world. But that thought caught her by surprise. This world was her home. How unusual it was to think of this place as home. Mina, over here, lullaby. Mina's eyes caught 4 huge arachnids with horse saddles sat calmly in place. The sight frightened Mina. She took a few steps backward into a person. Mina turned slowly and glanced upward, and her eyes caught beautiful emerald eyes behind dark lashes. His brogue accent sent shivers through Mina. Aye, lass, you all right this morning? Mina turned toward him and shyly said, Why, yes, I am. Thank you for your concern, Aiden. I apologize for stumbling into you. Aiden smiled down at her. "'Tis all right, lass. Ye are a bree." Another voice caught Mina by surprise. Come on over, Mina. We are about to embark on our journey to help you fix your Wesley." Mina smiled and turned back toward the arachnids. I'm frightened of spiders. Evie hopped off of one and walked over toward Mina. Don't be afraid. They are trained Amgon widows. It's the feral ones that you should be frightened of. You won't see much of them. They are being harvested by King Prince Ark, your great-great-uncle, king of the Secremthia wood omnarchs. Mina followed, and then they were off, soaring through the air on Amgon widows. Spiders are shooting webs, and they're like, woo! Continuing. I was thinking Spider-Man, but yeah. Chapter 14, Free Falling. Mina had never felt so alive before today. She was soaring through some woods. On the back of Amgon widows, Lucy had mentioned that the one she was riding was named Aang. She had a reddish-black fur and purred as she tossed out webs of silver. Mina held tight to Aang, noticing how soft her fur felt in her hands. There was nothing like feeling the wind around you. The sights were amazing. Mina spotted two suns that danced together in the sky. The warmth made her feel safe as her hair whipped around her head. How are you doing so far, Lullaby? Mina looked over toward the voice and responded, I'm doing fine, Mom. Evie smiled. That's good. Not too many people have the guts to ride an Amgon widow. Mina grinned. Where are we headed? Evie responded. Lullaby, we are headed toward Ollivander's citadel. Aang slowed down and stopped in front of the old cabin covered in shrubbery. Everyone hopped off of their Amgon widows. Where are we, Lullaby? Oh, not where are we. I'm sorry, I read it wrong. We are here, Lullaby. Let's go visit Ollivander. Chapter 15, Fool's Journey. Mina was astounded by the hidden staircase that led down the Ollivander citadel. Water dripped down the sides of the spiral staircase. As they reached the bottom of the stairs, Mina could see a cauldron and magic radiating off of it. Well, hello, Mina, Evie, Aiden, and Lucy. Evie spoke first. Hello, Ollivander. We need your help to locate an Iarchy Seraph's Lily trinket. Ollivander guided them into the room with a huge cauldron. Ollivander waved his fingers into his air and commanded the chairs to appear and move into a circle around the cauldron. My friends, Aneo's daughter Leo dropped her trinket somewhere in Ambala. Only rumors have surfaced at which end of our world that it could be lying. The best I can offer is to talk to King Prince Ark of the Secremthia wood omnarchs. He might be able to lead you closer through your journey. Mina stood up, thanking Ollivander, and then climbed back up the spiral stairs and dodged the hanging shrubs above the door. Hey, Lullaby, we'll find the trinket, I promise. Mina turned to Evie. I know. Chapter 16, Secremthia Omnarchs. Aang flew over the immense gates, flying high and landing softly on the grass. A thick fog surrounded the courtyard. Mina slid off of Aang with such grace that when she landed, there was no thud. It surprised her. Uncle, 'tis Evie. May I have a word with you? Out of the fog stepped a man. Mina could only compare him to an actor she had seen in a TV series that she was fond of, True Blood, Sam Trammell, whom played Sam Marlott. This creature looked like him, except his eyes and skin color. Mina was mesmerized. What is it you need, Lullaby? Mina was confused. She went to speak, but was stopped when Evie stepped forward and hugged Prince Ark. Or King Prince Ark. Oh, Uncle, it's good to see you. I have an issue that that is a time traveler issue. One of my 3 daughters has traveled back in time to ask for help in finding a trinket that belonged to Aneo's daughter Leo. Have you any idea where it's located or its location could be? Ark glanced at both Mina and Evie. Checks Shreve Grove Cemetery. That is the last location I remember hearing about it being. Chapter 17, Webs of Air. I'm going to move you closer to me, sorry. Okay, Mina glanced up at the array of beautiful stars that danced in the night sky. It was so beautiful out. Then she noticed a huge water planet glistening in the night sky. Flashbacks to when she would have spent the summer hanging out with Riley and Emily at Emily's house. How Riley's night terrors and talking in her sleep would wake up Emily and Mina, and how they would listen to the tales that came from Riley. The water planet was always Mina's favorite part of the night terrors. Mina took a huge whiff of night air, relishing in the moments after. Suppressing a yawn. Oh, sorry. Her yawn's making me yawn. The fact that she was a part of it this last summer helped her realize that she wanted to really be a part of a family. She just couldn't believe that she was here. Mina glanced back at Eldor, smiling to herself. Eldor, the water planet I was born on. The place where your grandfather Caleb is resting. Mina shifted her smile and eyes toward Evie. Where were you reborn? Evie's smile dropped. Mina, I'm not sure. I know that before you arrived, I was to marry King Reed. From touching you, my memories were flooded with your memories, and of images of the future, I saw bits of me holding you 3 within my tummy. I stepped forward and I felt your I stepped forward and felt your bladed fins swimming within me. It was the most beautiful thing I have ever felt. Evie cleared her throat. Evie, why are you doing this? Silence followed. Because Amelia was tricked and Nemesis used her weakness against her to get back his first love, and his first love is you 3. Chapter 18, Shadow Seraphs. The wind shifted and a light rain submerged in fog. Lightning surrounded everyone. Chills ran up Mina's spine. Lucinda tossed Mina a blade. Lucinda spoke using telepathy. Mina, be ready. Defend yourself with your life, for we have unexpected visitors. The Amgon widows continued a steady pace of swinging through the trees and above them. Evie... Imagine that screamed. Evie! A male voice echoed through the night wind. Electricity seemed to follow. Mina looked around and saw a man riding a hooded creature. Mina, those are shadow seraphs. Stay calm, or they will feed on your fear. Evie! Yeah, it sounds cooler in my head. Evie looked ahead, spotting the man. She pulled out her elder sword, brandishing it. Sire Akamelutra, what do you want? The man scoffed at her question as if Evie should already know what he wants. I want you. Evie laughed. Her laughter echoed through the crashing thunder. Akamelutra, you will never have me. Evie sliced the clouds and fog with her sword, catching lightning with it, and throwing it directly toward Akamelutra, knocking him off of his shadow seraph. Another shadow seraph caught him. Suddenly, they were surrounded by so many shadow seraphs. Mina couldn't contain herself anymore. She was scared. She stood up on end, reaching her palms up toward the sky, feeling like she was in a trance. She screamed. A bolt of electricity covered her form. No, I command you to stop attacking us. You are free to leave. Suddenly, the shadow seraph stopped attacking and released Akamutra, dropping him. Mina felt dizzy. She also dropped from Aang, falling fast to the ground below. Only she didn't land on the ground. She landed in a river near a broken skull waterfall. The water hit her hard, knocking the air from her lungs. Mina tried to fight the dizziness and the water that was threatening to swallow her whole. A hand pulled her out of the river, holding her a few feet above the water's surface. Mina opened her eyes and saw the snow dance softly against the calming river. Her eyes climbed up her rescuer's form, his boots resting on the river as if it was solid instead of water. He had leather jeans and no shirt. He was tan, tattoos climbed his chest. Mina's eyes met his. He had dark hair, piercing blue eyes. Nemesis? Her heart skipped beats. She was unsure of why it danced erratically beneath her flesh. He pulled her closer, his right hand holding her up out of the water, his left hand grabbing her waist and pulling her in. He smelled of earth and fresh rain. Nemesis whispered in her ear after smelling her neck. You smell familiar, like I've known you before. His voice was silky as Dove chocolate. Mina Canable. Nemesis's eyes lit up. He tilted his lips into a grin. Within a few moments, Nemesis had moved them to the shore without actually moving from holding Mina. He had her pinned against an old tree. He pressed his body against hers and captured her lips. Mina pinched her eyes closed. Suddenly, flashes of another life appeared. She could still feel Nemesis running his fingers over her body. She watched a forbidden love triangle appear. His memories were unlocking her memories. Just as fast as the memories had appeared, they had left. Nemesis was yanked off of Mina. Get off my daughter, Flugon. Evie had knocked him back, sucker punching him. When Evie punched him, he flew back into the river and turned into black smoke, no splash. Evie turned to Mina. Mina had slid down the tree and was cradling her knees, her face buried in her arms. Her sobs tugged at Evie. Evie walked over toward Mina, reaching down to touch Mina and standing her up. Did he hurt you? Mina wiped her tears from her eyes, holding in a whimper. No, Nemesis didn't hurt me. He showed me everything. Evie hugged Mina and guided her back to Aang. Mina straddled Aang, still trying to keep her composure, as they swung off into the forest, headed toward Shreve Grove Cemetery. A loud scream. I spelled load wrong. I spelled loud wrong. I was tired. A loud scream could be heard. Aneo, you split her into 3? The scream of anguish forever etched itself into Mina's soul. Alright, Chapter 19, Power Hype. Evie and Mina reached the camp that Lucy and Aiden had set up for them for the night. Lucinda had placed a protective charm on the camp to keep any enemies at bay. Evie, what's wrong with me? Evie turned from the fire toward Mina. Lullaby, there is nothing wrong with you. You are very special like your sisters. I fell to protect you 3 from the chaos in all the realms. Aneo saw to that. You are magic, blessed to move mountains and make miracles happen. But it is not you alone. You owe thanks to your grandfather Aneo. He heard Amelia's prayers and sent me to help fix her folly decisions. Thus why I have been stuck in a forever loop trying to fix this misfortune that has befallen all of us. For most individuals see the glass as half empty. I see the glass as half full. If there is a will, there is a way. And as life pushes us over, we are meant to get up and keep moving forward, forever learning our mistakes and honing in our soul. So you 3 must never give up, alright? Mina sniffled a little bit, then asked, Evie, could you teach me how to hone in my skills? Evie flashed her brightest smile. Of course, come here. Mina scooted closer to Evie, placed her hands in Evie's. Mina, close your eyes. Can you feel the elements around you? You are not above them, but you can use them to help you by asking them with your soul. Earlier you stood up, knowing you needed help, and asking regardless of the dangers of standing on a bouncy spider. You begged Aneo for help with your soul. He hears you and knows your heart, and he is connected to your soul, for he created it. He lent you electricity as he lends me electricity. All you ever have to do is ask, and he will always be there for you, Lullaby. Chapter 20, Night Terrors. Mina fell asleep listening to the fire crackling and the crickets chirping, or so she thought it was crickets. Her eyelids fell heavy against her cheeks. Mina heard a noise that startled her awake. Her eyes flew open. She rolled over and saw the journal sitting on her nightstand. Mina sat up and removed the covers from her form. A chill crawled up her spine as she let her toes hit the cold hardwood floor of her dorm room. She glanced at the mirror as she walked past to the bathroom mirror that was resting in the corner of her bedroom facing her, the red handprint still visible and fresh looking. Mina brushed her fingers through her hair and went into her bathroom. She walked over to the claw bathtub and turned the faucet, adjusting the water pressure and temperature. The water cascaded down her body as she enjoyed washing her hair. Hands started to touch her flesh as she was turned away from them. She felt as though she was in a trance, hot breath dancing on her neck as she could feel a warm body behind her. Mina slowly turned and lips caught hers. Her eyes closed. The kiss sent more tantalizing shivers across her flesh. She reached up and guided her fingers through the figure's soft hair. He pushed her against the shower wall, acting primal, trying to consume all her life force. The action knocked Mina's air from her lungs. She opened her eyes and tried to scream. She pushed away from Nemesis. Mina grabbed for the curtain, her weight pulling it from its rings, snapping and rushing to the tile floor with her. Nemesis landed on top of Mina. He was naked and his blue eyes demonic. Mina screamed and wiggled away. She looked up to see H standing off to the side. Sympathy and sadness written all over his face. He took his foot and slid a heavy object toward Mina. Mina reached over and tipped the pillar and a huge heavy planter, watching it tip and smack Nemesis on his head. He vanished into smoke along with the planter. Mina grabbed a black towel and covered herself as she glanced back toward H, realizing he had also vanished. What the hell is going on? Mina grabbed her nightgown, ready to throw it on. She looked up and saw blood in her bathroom mirror, slowly seeping down. Run, he's coming. Mina dropped her nightgown and ran out the dorm room into nothing but a black towel. Stepping into the hallway, she went to walk toward Riley's dorm room, thinking maybe Riley could help her. As Mina started toward Riley's hallway, out of the shadows a tall boy stepped, jet black hair and demonic eyes. Taylor? He started to get closer towards her. Hey, Mina, he wants you. Mina stumbled backward, turning and catching herself. She started to run. Mina ran out of the dorm toward Donna's house, climbing on her Harley, leaving her helmet. As she hopped off of it, she started down the drive toward Donna's house. She started to knock. The lights flickered, and as she stepped back a few feet, a crowd of ghosts with demonic eyes appeared before her eyes. Mina only recognized Thomas, Vicky, Jane, Alex, Mrs. Franks, Mr. Franks, Gus, Mr. and Mrs. Harrow. Thomas stepped forward. He's coming for you, Mina. He wants you. Mina stumbled backwards down the steps, landing in open arms. Felix was right behind her. He's coming. Mina jumped up, pushed Felix away from her. She ran to her Harley and wrapped her left leg over the seat and kicked it to start. Fear clouded her thoughts as she headed to Rosemont Peak Boarding Academy, almost crashing her bike when a flash of a car accident appeared out of thin air. A woman was inside of the car crying. Mina jumped off of her bike, readjusting her towel around her body as she got off the bike. Mina ran over to the woman. "Miss, are you all right?" The sobbing woman cried so loud that it started to sting Mina's ears. She looked up from the car, looking directly into Mina's eyes. "He took my baby, and now he's coming for you." Her eyes flashed demonic black as she screamed and tried to crawl out of the car that was crushed against the tree, her red beehive hairstyle falling to her face. As her black mascara left wet trails down her cheeks, Mina turned and ran into a tall Asian boy, Alfred, standing in the grass. "Run, he's coming closer." Mina sidestepped Alfred, ran to the double doors of the school, throwing them open and running inside. Mina ran to the library, but before she could reach the door, Tom stepped out. He said nothing as he started to slowly walk towards her. Everyone she continued to run into had demonic eyes. Mina would not let fear overpower her senses. She turned and ran toward the gym where the dance was. As she put her hand on the door, it swung open and Arlene and Eliza stepped from the shadows. "Time's running out, Mina." No matter where Mina tried to run, everyone she knew and didn't know appeared and started to walk towards her. She stopped in an intersection in the hallways. H walked toward her from her left, W from her right, Kit from behind her, and Nemesis in front of her. She stopped and freaked out, dropping to the ground as they got closer. All exits were blocked. Huddling into her knees, Mina whimpered. When she peeked up from her legs, everyone was gone. She sighed out in relief, started to stand, and a cloud of smoke rushed her, pushing her through the pool gym doors, rushing her toward the balcony. Her back hit the concrete banister, jolting them to a stop. "Found you." Mina turned her face away from Nemesis, tears cascading down her cheeks. She saw them fall off the balcony into Belvedere Ravine. "Why?" "Because you were taken from me, and I died in anguish the moment you gave yourself over to my brother. For protecting me, please. I know the only reason was to get us to stop and come together. The thing is, Mina, I don't like to share my playthings with anyone, and you are mine." Mina turned her face to look at Nemesis, his eyes dark and menacing. "Riley will stop you. Donna will stop you, and I will kill you." Nemesis started to laugh like a crazy man. "You can't kill what isn't alive." Mina reached her hand up out over the ravine, asking Aneo for help. A huge electrical wave connected to Mina, and she used it to knock Nemesis backwards. "Watch me." Mina blasted him backwards into the pool, where the blue water turned black. The sheer shock reverberated back into Mina. She caught the banister for support. A meek voice danced in her ears. "Shreve Grove Cemetery." Shreve Grove Cemetery. Chapter 21. Thickets of Thorns. Mina screamed herself awake, realizing that she was back on Mbala, but not in the camp that Lucinda and Aiden had built. Mina pushed herself up off the grass and looked around. She was in a cemetery. The wrought iron black gates were overrun by wild roses and thorns. Mina stood up and adjusted her clothes. She followed a trail to the top of the hill to a headstone. Broken roses lay on the top. Mina reached down and touched the stone, brushing off the dust. Aiden McTavish. Mina stepped back and stumbled into a solid object. The eyes started to glow and it started to growl. Mina rolled down the hill, hitting a lot of headstones as she skidded. When she stopped at the base of the statue, the growl and glowing eyes started to get closer. Mina reached up to grab onto an angel statue, turning herself. A soft smoke that covered the statue, waking it up. The statue stepped down from its pedestal, walking over to its spiked spear that was across the cemetery, having it come toward the angel. Then it turned toward the glowing eyes and threw the pike in one ear and out the other of the wolf. The wolf turned to thick black smoke and vanished. Mina turned back to the angel statue and realized that the statue was actually Lorelei.